I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. I am joined by Icy. Hi.
Hello, I'm IcyPants.
Hey, I appreciate you coming on. Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Hello, I'm IcyPants, or Icy for short. I am a world-hopping shapeshifter VTuber. I'm also a voice actor, and yeah.
Oh, well, that's a heck of an instrument you got there. I'm just going to give you the microphone, and I'll go sulk in the corner. So, how long have you been doing the voice work business?
I've been doing voiceover work for about 3 years now.
Yeah.
Most of it has just been taking classes and absorbing as much knowledge as I can. But I've gotten a few big things, not like huge or anything, but big to me.
Anything is big. I mean, if you do it right. Just don't do it
Right.
too big. Yeah, that's sort of thing. We had so many people in radio who would have sounded perfectly fine had they just talked, and instead they tried to put on the big radio voice, and it sounded so ridiculous. But like, come on,
Right.
guys, you got a gift there, use it. And so, did you kind of get a calling to do it, or did somebody prod you into it, or what?
So the way that I kind of fell into this was that when my daughter was about 3 years old, I was reading like Spider-Man storybooks and all these different little stories to her when she was little.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife was like, you'd be really great at voiceover work. You should really consider that. And I was like, whatever. And as more and more time went by, probably about like another 3 or 4 years of reading stories to my kid, I finally had given it some serious consideration, and had signed up with Richard Horvitz for one of his classes, which I've heard have been phenomenal classes. And where I was living, there was like a hurricane that was blowing through, and they had to evacuate. And so like I had to cancel the class, and I was like, well, I guess that's that then. And then the voice actor Joshua Seth ended up coming to my hometown probably a few months after that.
Oh.
And I was like, well, I got to go meet Joshua Seth because that's like my childhood voice actor hero. He was Tai from Digimon and Alpha 5 and Cyborg 009 and Tetsuo from Akira and all these like really big roles that I knew him from. And so I went and I met him physically at a anime convention, and I was like, hey, I'm interested in doing this as a potential career. And he's like, all right, well, go to my website, go watch the 30-minute free video, and then I can do one-on-one classes. And so I did that and did some one-on-one classes with him, and he was like, man, you're really good. Have you never done acting training? I was like, I have zero acting other than being a dad. And
Well,
and he's like, that's insane.
Yeah, that's insane, but that's very much the truth.
Right.
So things happen, gotta pretend it's okay.
Right? Yeah. And so then started taking classes with him, and have been doing that for about 3 years now. Built up quite a rapport with him, as well as doing various different gigs on YouTube, and gotten I got my first video game role from Twitter, and then playing D&D with some other content creators landed me my audiobook.
Oh, now that's something I haven't talked to anybody about yet. Is audiobook work, because that's something completely different, isn't it? That's not just working with a script; it's working with the entire book.
Yeah, it is a different monster entirely.
Oh, and a monster it could be too. So can you tell us which book it was?
Sure, absolutely. So the name of the book is Lionhearted: 7 Traits of Fearless Faith by Jeff Evans. It is a book where Jeff, the author, is just talking about ways to improve, your own faith, because basically it talks about in the book of, faith on Sunday looks great, but then how do you translate that when you're stuck in traffic on Monday?
Oh yeah.
Like you praise God on Sunday, but when you're stuck in traffic on the bridge and everything like that, you are you're like yelling and screaming and like, you cut me off, you jerk, everything like that.
Yeah.
And so
Oh
it's
yeah.
just it's a book about talking about trying to improve your own faith and stuff.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I've talked about that with several folks over the years about uh, um, it's not just you just show up on Sunday or whatever time your service is,
Hmm.
and you've done enough for the week. You've you've earned the right to go out and be mean to everybody that you see, and toss the dog over the hedge at the neighbor and that type of thing. You can do whatever you want now the rest of the week.
Yep.
That's not how it works.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean you gotta live it as much as you know. And I'm sure you've met folks too that know their Bible inside and out, but they haven't really read it.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that I've spoken to over the years that they know verses, but they may not know the context of the verse.
Mm.
And uh, it's kind of heartbreaking because it is, at the end of the day, the gospel is a message of love. And, um, you know, as it comes with any, because the Bible is a tool. It's a collection of stories to teach us how to live better.
Mm.
And as with any tool, it can be used for, wonderful, amazing things, or it can be used for horrible, mean things. And
Oh
I don't
yeah,
like when people use the Bible to spread hatred or, you know, uh, evil,
yeah, absolutely,
almost.
absolutely. And by picking and choosing and like you're going down a buffet and picking a little bit of this, a little bit of that to sew it together into the quilt that justifies what you want to do, it,
Hmm.
it defeats the purpose of the entire book, in my opinion, anyway. Uh, and
Yeah.
I also I want to talk about the Christianity side of it a little bit later,
Hmm.
but I'll get back to the voice acting work that you did for it. So with a book like
Sure.
this isn't a novel. It's not a um, necessarily historical book. How do you approach doing that as a voice person?
So one of the biggest skills that anyone interested in getting into voiceover work is being able to read without sounding like you're reading.
Mm.
And um, for the way that this book was written is it was written in first person, and so like I had to read it as if I were Jeff, um and so like a lot of the narrative was him talking about his experiences and how he views things and how he would improve upon certain aspects of your life. Like one chapter delves into having courage
Mm.
and courageous enough to step out and say like, oh, I'm okay at this, or I'm not okay at this, or I need help with this, or I don't need help with this, or whatever it is,
Right.
whatever the case may be. And so like I had to approach this as, I am reading this as Jeff. It's not just, I'm reading lines and I sound like a robot. There
Hmm.
are certain aspects of voiceover work that require that. Like there's a lot of there's big money to be made in doing e-learning, which is very much that robotic, like don't come into your workplace wearing these clothes. And
Yes.
you have these very robotic things, but then the other side of that is when you're actually doing that acting and you're putting that yourself into that position.
Yeah. 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 And with the I understand what you got. We just went through some of that at work. That's why I was laughing. It was like,
Hmm.
yeah, it was almost like a computer was doing it. It was so so bland the way the folks were doing it. But there are just some things that are like texts and that type of thing that don't lend itself to e- um, emotional interpretation, and
Hmm.
you can't really you don't want to put your own spin on it accidentally by
Right.
emphasizing one thing over another. It takes you got to be pretty adroit to do something like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, know where your uh, limits are and be able to work toward them. How long did it take you to do the book?
Um, so this was my first long form recording
Hmm.
that I had done.
Yeah.
And so it took me it was about 2 hours and 40 minutes of actual reading. So that translated to I roughly spent about 6, 7 hours in the booth.
Oh,
Just because this was my first time doing this.
yeah. I think that's really good. Considering the what you're putting together here, you if you're doing it in separate sessions, you want the session to have the same timbre and the same sound quality from one to the other, and then of course
Hmm.
like me crossing my eyes occasionally and mixing up a word or two, and you can't ad lib. You're there to read what the book says, so
Yeah,
you can't
that
cut a
was
corner.
probably my biggest struggle with that was is that it was I would find myself reading and then I would be reading with my eyes so quickly that my mouth couldn't keep up and I
Mm,
would miss a word in the middle of a sentence
right.
and I would have to go back and re-record that whole paragraph again.
Oh yeah, yeah. I used to do this with longer radio scripts for commercials where I would read ahead and then I would kind of assume what it would say, um,
Hmm.
and then I'd play it back and like that's not even close to what they want to say. Start over again. It was a lot worse when we were doing audio tape because you really started over again with audio tape, but with electronic stuff now, the new fangled stuff, it's a lot better now. A lot easier to do. Do you do this from home or do you go to a studio?
I do this from home. I'm actually in my booth right now.
Yes, it sounds really good. It sounds really good.
Thank you.
Have you had to put a lot of special equipment into it? A lot of soundproofing, that sort of thing.
So I've the booth is a converted closet,
Mm.
and I put a bunch of 2-inch foam on the walls and then I built like a PVC cage inside this closet to make it a little bit smaller.
Oh, cool.
Um, and so it's now currently like a 4 foot by 4 foot by 7 foot square in here.
Yeah,
Um,
that's studio
and
sized.
and then I just kind of put up some foam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've worked in a lot smaller studio sizes than that.
Hmm.
That's not bad at all. You get to stretch out a little bit with it, and um, I think what type of did you have to search long for a good microphone?
I actually took advantage because I have a music store that's probably about 5, 10 minutes from where I live, and
Ah,
they were holding a special with a microphone and interface bundle.
mm,
So I ended up purchasing that, which was the Focusrite Scarlett bundle, and it was probably about $100 at the time, and so it gave me a CM25 Mach 2 mic,
cool.
and then the Focusrite Scarlett interface, and I've used that ever since.
Wow, for $100, that ain't bad at all. It sounds really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. People don't know enough about microphones when they start, and they'll start. First thing they'll do is buy this ridiculous, over the top um, Sennheiser super quality microphone for about the price of what I
Hmm.
would pay for a car, and which isn't that much, but and it's just over. You're just you're sandblasting a soup cracker at that point. The
Yeah.
frequencies you need aren't that unless you're a singer, unless you're doing music. You're working with something else that requires to have every frequency that ever existed. Um, just get a good microphone that has the. If you're a talker like I'm doing, just yap yap yap. I don't need to have super high or super low notes. I can drone at the same
Hmm.
tone all day long, and I don't need a super microphone. Sounds like you got one right away with a good frequency range for you.
Hmm. Yeah, it was actually really really convenient that I got this special, and it's kind of funny because when you've done something for a while that you're very comfortable with, and you feel like it's your calling in life, you just kind of like don't remember how you conveniently landed upon having all this stuff. I walk into my booth sometimes and I'll just kind of like look around and be like, wow, I can't believe that I'm here right now because of the fact that I just like thinking about trying to get all this stuff put together now just seems very stressful to me.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't remember where all this stuff came from. It's just, it's always been here. So
It's just I found it and there it was. So,
yeah.
well, when I was in the last couple of years, I was doing radio. I always thought about doing something at having a little home setup, and having seen all of the stuff that goes into a radio setup, I'm like, I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm not one to take part of the house and turn it upside down and do all this stuff. And then I realized, I don't really need all that much stuff. I'm not, doing a voice acting thing or anything like that, but I'm still going to be doing several hours a week on talking to people. I have Audacity, I have a microphone, and I have a computer. There we go. We're good. We're set. People also don't realize how soundproofing helps. Buffers.
It's crazy.
It definitely adds a lot more bass sound to your microphone that the talking directly into a window will not do. Yeah, folks are realizing that now. I can't talk directly to a window. It's not going to sound good. But just little things, and that doesn't cost that much. It doesn't, to improve those little things. So now that you've got this under your belt, and you've got a game under your belt, how are you actively seeking out more jobs VA wise, or what?
Oh yeah, always. In fact, when after our interview today, I've got several projects that I have to audition for. But this is essentially a side gig for me, but it is still something that I'm very active in.
Yeah. Well, side gigs can turn into full gigs if you get the right break.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, if the right person hears the right thing, and I've had a couple of folks on here who actually answered blind ads, and ended up with lead roles in adaptations of manga. Not manga, but Japanese cartoons, which is pretty sweet, I think.
Yeah.
And just that little push. You still have to market yourself and get yourself out there if you want to make it, do a lot of things in that type of a business. Yeah. As if you can't tell, I envy you greatly. So there's an immense amount of hatred building up on this end.
Well, I appreciate that.
If I was still in radio, I'd hire you just for the chance for you to not make any money whatsoever. It's great to see so many people are getting this opportunity, though, to show, because it may be not be so great for the people who are hanging around Los Angeles and got every job in the world, but it's probably better for the people who are looking for voices and can find somebody who actually sounds like that.
So the funny thing about it is that the folks that are in Los Angeles or Dallas or New York, which are like the main hubs for like cartoons and anime and stuff. The funny thing about doing voiceover work is that anime actually pays the least when it comes to voiceover work. The major amount of money comes from like e-learning, commercials, audiobooks, that sort of stuff. The not so hot and sexy type of work for voice actors. And and the other thing too is that, if there's a lot of rejection in this field, and you have to stick with it. Like, you have to accept the fact that if you get rejected, it may not be because you're garbage. It just, the director may not be looking for your voice specifically.
Exactly.
And Joe Zija, another phenomenal voice actor, he's one of LA's top booked animation voices right now, and he was doing an interview on a podcast, and he said, if you're booking 3% of the things you audition for, you're doing great.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That means you better get out there and get your stuff some auditions, because if it's 3%, that's not very big, and 3% of 10 is less than 1. So you better get out there and do some more if you want a good shot at it. And so with this, have you got yourself a thing on YouTube that has your demo reel, so to speak?
Yeah, my demo's out there on YouTube that I can pass it off to anybody who ever asks for it.
Yeah.
I also have a SoundCloud that has all my different my demos, my audio booth sounds, as well as some other stuff. And then I of course have my TikTok, where I also do work on there as well, and I've done some voiceover stuff on there, and I've got a little D&D themed audio series that I've been on and off putting together for the last year. It's very slow going because I have to get in here, write the scripts, record it, and then put it up on or throw it into an editing software, put text to it, and then it's a big huge thing, but it's not as easy as just recording and then sending off an audition.
No, it's not. And then you get there where you think something's a really good idea, and then you write it down to say it, and then you say it, and you go, "What in the world was I thinking?" Start over again, erase, start over. You did that with so many shows over the years, like pregame shows for sporting events, where I would have to fill a half hour at a time. Sometimes it was broken up with interviews and such, but still, that's a lot to put together on your own before a major college football game. And the pressure was really big, and you want to make sure you're saying the right things, because otherwise it's going to be bad. But you talk about the ones that make money. Some of the biggest side project things I made money on were bowling. I mean, people would say, "What, bowling?" Yeah, I did play-by-play for the local bowling championship. And I can tell you, it paid a good chunk of my rent. Yeah, people are willing to have actual voices to do things. People that know a little bit about what they're doing. And so I got to ask you this, because when you check on YouTube and a commercial comes on with an AI voice, how does that strike you?
So, I personally I have a strong dislike of AI in regards to it being used for creative media. So, voiceover, video, artwork, basically anything where it scrapes across the internet, takes other people's work, and then tries to mishmash it together into whatever you've asked for. And I've seen political ads, I've seen funny memes, I've seen everything on TikTok imaginable to do with somebody taking somebody else's voice and then having them say something else. And it's disgusting, in my opinion, because it's you're taking somebody else's work or their likeness and you're fitting it to whatever you want, and it lacks that soul and interaction.
Right.
Now, that being said, I am fine when AI is properly utilized, because, as I said earlier, when it came to the Bible, it's a tool, and if it's utilized for good, I don't have that huge of a problem because my day job, I use AI in there as well, but I use it in a model that is, because my day job is I work for the government doing cybersecurity stuff.
Yeah.
And oftentimes I will have to, my boss will be like, hey, can you find some regulation that says yay or nay on this specific item? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And rather than me look through our 50,000 pages of documentation, I can go to this AI model and say, hey, can you find me references of where this particular item is spoken about in regards to this?
Yeah.
And it'll spit something out at me and say, here's the regulations, here's all these things. And like, I think that is a wonderful way to use a tool,
right,
such as AI.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like voice and art and other creative media, I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% as far as that goes. And it doesn't help that every product you see in those ads is worthless for the most part. And and another thing, and I've said this before, you can hire a decent announcer for a half a cheese sandwich, because a lot of us, the M in media was always meant to be mooch. we just, give us something free and we'll do it. I mean, there's always somebody who wants to put their voice out there. And if you can't afford that, then your product must not be worth the effort as far as that goes. Now, I wanted to ask you about, and I'm going to do this right, because so being able to do what you're doing, not just VTubing, but the voice acting work, and maintaining your Christian values, is that tough to do? Are you have you become that confident in your Christianity that it's not a problem?
So my Christian values. Anybody who comes to my stream, everybody and everybody is always welcome to show up to my streams. But they do. I have the Christian tag on my VTuber profile. I've got. If anybody asks me, like what my favorite Bible verse is, I can rattle it off. I don't hide that aspect of myself. But I also don't, as I said earlier, I don't use it as a weapon either. And I believe that the best way to go forward as a Christian and as a content creator is that I want people to see Christ through me, through my actions, and I'm not going to destroy that view that people may or may not have of Christ based upon me being like a jerk or me saying something that may or may not be inappropriate or act a certain way just because it would be funny, haha type thing. Like I'm very like safe for work, family friendly, and my community understands that and they respect that. And
Good.
I've had a couple of people that have come in and they've tried to get me to like act a certain way or they behave a certain way in my chat, and my community is very like defensive of me, and they'll run defense and be like, yo, we don't talk like that here.
Yeah. There's plenty of places you can go and to do that, but now this to me it's always been I talked this with a couple of folks, one of the national radio hosts, Brant Hansen, I worked with for a while, and we talk about believable Christians. Whereas you get a lot of folks who immediately, when you say that you're a Christian person, they think of the person with all the bumper stickers and talking one way and acting another and that sort of thing. I've always been an advocate of you present yourself as a human being and trying to do your best.
Right.
There's always going to be slips, otherwise, we'd all be automatons, which thank the Lord we're not. And I've always thought that believability will give off a good vibe is, I guess, the best word to somebody as far as Christianity goes. Um, you still have to live it and do that sort of thing. Is it is it tough for you to interact with other VTubers? Because there are some who definitely, uh, I will say, push the envelope.
Mhm. So for me, it's not tough. It's not tough at all because the friends that I have made, those that are religious, we have religious discussions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the friends that aren't religious, they understand and they respect me, and they don't push that envelope in that direction for me.
Mm-hmm.
They basically go, okay, I understand that you're Christian. There's some things that you don't want to talk about. There's some things that I don't want to talk about, and I respect that for them as well. While I would love to see my brothers and sisters here on earth all be saved and understand and feel the love of Christ. I understand that sometimes when you push that on people, it tends to push them further away.
Right, right, right. It's like one of those coin machine drops. You and
Mm-hmm.
when you expect the coin you drop to push the other coin in, instead it pushes something else and makes it worse. And
Mm-hmm.
then you go get more coins. But then that's a whole different topic. Um,
Mm-hmm.
stay away from those. But it does have an absolute negative reaction sometimes, and it can be tough to walk that line. But again, it's always been looking up and not down and forward. It sounds like to me
Right.
you got it set up pretty good. I mean, you've got a really great attitude for this, for all of this. Um, I I can't imagine something that would not be available to you at this point.
Yeah. There's not really a whole lot that I really limit myself to.
Mm.
So.
Yeah, it's you've got a great instrument. You're working on refining it. You've already got the gigs under your belt, and a great attitude. That's a great way to do it. Now, when you started with the VTubing side of things, was it easy for you to get a following behind you?
At first, yeah, probably. So I got my start. So I started streaming on Twitch probably about 12 years ago.
Mm.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's been that long. But
We's all getting old.
I would, yeah, I know, right? I started streaming about 12 years ago, and I would do once a year where I would do a on-camera charity live stream for Extra Life, and that would be like my single stream throughout the year because I never really got a whole lot of views, but I would stream for a couple people and they would donate money to the children's hospital, and then I would call it a day, and then we would do it again the following year. And when it was probably about like 4 years ago now at this point, I I had created a Discord group that was called the DSG, and it was called the Depression Support Group. And it was a Discord server that I was running that was supposed to help people with mental health issues and things like that, because I also suffer from depression and anxiety, and so I thought, what better way to help people and to help myself than to be around like-minded people, and they can know that I can see their perspective and they can see my perspective.
Right.
And so when I decided to expand and broaden my horizons further than just in that little pocket on the internet of my Discord group, because it's very hard to market that Discord and be like, hey, are you sad? Do you want to be around other sad people? And so I was like, all right, well then I'm gonna give this streaming gig a shot. And so I wrote into my lore that I was created by God, and I was supposed to travel from world to world, and I would be able to sense and be able to talk to people and help them with their problems, primarily mental health issues and things. And during that time, I streamed for those people in that Discord, picked up a few new people from Twitch, and kind of expanded that Discord a little bit further. And I was like, all right, well, now I really want to build a community. And so I created a separate Discord that was primarily focused towards my VTuber persona, and it grew from there. And the DSG unfortunately became a not safe place for several people, and I shut it down.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. There's always somebody who wants to throw dirt in the Cheerios, unfortunately.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's kind of what happened. There was some drama that took place in there. There was some people that I don't want to say they were faking, but it was just there was some very strange and odd behavior that was going on, some very strange and odd things that were being said, and I was like, we can't do this anymore. And I ended up shutting it down, and thankfully a lot of the members from that followed me to my VTuber Discord, and so from there it's just expanded more and more. And I've found that streaming for these people, getting involved with their lives, getting to know each and every person, and being able to help them just through my voice and seeing a silly little guy on the internet play video games for them and talk to them for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, it helps them, but it also in turn helps me as well. And my depression has I don't want to say is improved the right word for that. My mental health has improved.
Yeah, there you go. That's better.
Yeah.
That's it. That improved? The question mark. It's a wonderful that this is out there. That the ability to do this is out there. 20 years ago, it wasn't. That somebody could do this from their own home and be able to affect and effect as well people around the planet that they probably never meet in person, that may not speak their language as a first language. The world has become very small for both good and bad reasons. The fact that you're wanting to do it for as much good reason as possible makes it all the more tremendous that you're doing this. That's a shining light as far as I'm concerned.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, it really is. And there's a lot of people who could write it and especially after you put together your first Discord and saw that outsiders and people who had malicious intent took it down. And some people would have just walked away and said, okay, that's it. I'm done with it. I'm not going to talk and help people, but you're still doing it. That also shows that you're willing to stick up and do the right thing, which is also a good thing. The bad thing is that you've got a much better voice than I do, which I'm never going to forgive you for.
It's not that I have a better voice. You have a very fine voice. I mean, you do this for all these different wonderful VTubers, and I would say that I think that your voice is just fine.
Yeah. It's okay, I guess. I'll be weeping.
Everybody is very hypercritical of their own voice. I'm the same way.
I'll go weep in the corner. Thank you very much. No, really, it's wonderful to talk with you because it's a breath of fresh air. That the reasons why you want to do it and the success that you've gotten from it, it shows that you don't have to compromise what you believe in order to be successful in what you want to do. And I think a lot of your success is still in front of you, and it's just going to keep going. And I want to make sure that you keep in touch with me so we can keep up with it. It's going to be
absolutely.
I mean, absolutely interesting to see where it goes from here. And I, for one, wish you all the blessings and that everything continues to go well for you. As it's because right now, from what you've told me over these last several minutes, is that the things that you want seem like pretty dang good things. And that's just That's as 18 plus as I'm going to get on this particular interview. But it really does, and I really anything I can do to help, although I don't know how, I would certainly like to. Um, and I just thank you so much for coming on. Have you got any big events coming up on stream here in the future?
Well, since you asked, number one, I'll just start by responding, and I really greatly appreciate for the opportunity to be here and to be interviewed by you.
No.
I've been thinking about it for the past week, and I was like, oh man, this is gonna be cool. This is gonna be fun. I'm excited. I'm excited to see where this goes. I watched a couple of your other interviews with the other VTubers, and I was like, man, this is gonna be really neat. So,
thank you.
And as far as upcoming events, I'm of course always streaming. I stream 4 days a week, and but in November there is a event called Reach Conference, and that is a big gathering of a lot of us Christian content creators, where we try and help spread the word of Jesus in a very positive, constructive fashion through guest speakers. There's games and giveaways, and there's a cosplay contest this year, which is going to be fun and interesting. And then there's a gigantic D&D match that's going to be taking place that's going to have like 50 players, and we have 10 DMs. So each DM is going to have 5 players, and it's just going to be like a gigantic, massive game. And I am one of those. I'm one of those DMs.
So you're going to have to deal with 5 folks who want to try to make it as tough on you as possible.
Probably, and more than likely, it'll be people that have never played Dungeons and Dragons before, which is fine.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's fine, he says through gritted teeth.
It's fine. It's fine.
Perfectly
fine. I don't need the party to split up.
Yes. Yes. No, you don't have to roll for that.
Yeah, right. So, but yeah, so Reach Conference is a wonderful event, and that's taking place down in Winter Park, Florida, November 6th through the 8th. Right. So if anybody ever wants any more information about that, they are more than welcome to reach out to me.
Well, we're going to have the links in the description for the video. I thank you so much for coming on, Icy. It's been an absolute pleasure talking with you. And again, my hat's off to you for what you do.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate what you do. And I appreciate the opportunity to come on here and speak with you.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.